So my name is Cliff Wilming. I'm one of the co-hosts of We Do the Work. A lot of what we want to do on this show is get some personal testimonies of people from the job site and basically discuss a little bit about how they handle the boss in the short term using means that, that play to the power of the working people. So I want to tell a little bit of a story about when I was a union carpenter. This would have been back in about 2002, I believe. And we were working on a Bloomingdales in Oakbrook, Illinois, which is known to have a little bit of money. And of course, because we're building a Bloomingdales. This had been about August, which means that the temperature was probably about 95 degrees with about 130% humidity. And the job was a decent enough job, but the tension started to rise because at least halfway through the job, people in the mall started to complain because the workers that were building the Bloomingdales had the audacity to go out into the mall to eat our lunch, because the Bloomingdales, which was not temperature controlled, was like a sauna all day. And the sight of these people covered in concrete dust or drywall or paint, whatever, was offensive to the people in Oakbrook. And so we were told to actually eat lunch in the parking garage. We decided not to eat the lunch in the parking garage. We were going to continue eating lunch where it was nice out because we felt that we were doing these good people a favor by building their next location to do shopping for their pots and pans and bedding and that sort of thing. Well, we ran into a problem because midway through the job, we had brought this to the attention of the contractor, the superintendent, for a very long time. They were trying to force these non-union workers into the job site to unload our finished carpentry. And not that we have anything against non-union workers as people, but the bosses use these workers as wedges to reduce costs and wages when a lot of unionized people fought very hard for our union wages. And we had brought this to the attention of the superintendent for a very long time and had been ignored. One day we showed up at the job and they said, "Hey, look, a bunch of non-union folks are unloading your carpentry again." And the job steward basically said, "Well, that's nice. I really wanted to kind of sit out here and drink my coffee anyway. They can do their own work." And one by one, all of us agreed with this job steward. His name is Joe Amato, who I really need to say hi to. I know you're too cool for Facebook, Joe, but I'm not. And so we basically came upon the agreement that we were going to refuse to work. And at that stage, I said, well, if we're going to do this, we really need to get into the building and let all of the different trades know that we're going to be out here. So one by one, we chose different trades that we were going to go to and speak with. We had different representatives from the carpenters. And so we divided up and we went into the job site and went to every individual trade and we said, "Hey, look, we got this problem with these non-union workers coming in here. We're going to defend this site and we're not going to work." And I remember the iron worker that I spoke to basically said, "Well, you carpenters are a pretty scabby bunch and there's no way you're going to carry through anything like a work stoppage." And I said, "Well, no, I'd be willing to bet that's exactly what we're going to do." At which point the iron worker said, "Well, all right, guys, the carpenter's got a problem. There's non-union workers on the site. We're all going to sit down." And one by one, the trades all started to sit down until you looked across this giant expanse of construction and saw nothing but sitting down workers. And we also deployed some additional folks over to the non-union guys to say, "Hey, look, you can work here, but you got to get a union card and you got to get paid union wages." Well, it took about 10 minutes for the boss to come flying out of the office, wondering what the hell was going on. And so we said, "Look, we've come to you with this grievance a million times. You have ignored us for a very long time, and so we've decided that we're not going to work until until everybody on this site has got a union card. Well, that entire grievance process lasted about 10 minutes. We eventually, that was never a problem again on that site. And afterwards, we went to our union meeting that had about 200 people at it later that month, and we reported the whole story to the union. And huge standing ovation for people standing up for working people's rights. One of the union bureaucrats that we never voted in, it was a business agent in Local 1 there in Chicago, said, look, you guys broke rank. You didn't go by the process. You were supposed to call the business agent. One of the folks that wasn't even there said, hey, look, we know what happens when we call the business agent. Absolutely jack shit. You guys go into the office, you negotiate a deal, and there is a decent degree of compromise that takes place, and these brothers stood up and got the thing fixed right there. And so it's one of a million stories that we, as working people, have been able to tell, and that we want to hear more of. If you are out there and you are a worker and you have taken action on the job site, we want to hear from you. We want to hear about your experience because, after all, we do the work.
This is fucking awesome. Now, walk into the club like, what up? I got a big pack. I'm just pumped. I bought some shit from a thrift shop. Ice on the fringe is so damn frosty. The people like, damn, that's a cold-ass honky. Rolling in hella deep, headed to the mezzanine. Dressed in all pink, set my gator shoes. Those are green draped.